right to your top headlines this evening. These stories are real new now. Medicaid expansion has been a big topic among Missourians. Now voters will be able to decide for themselves. We'll tell you when you can expect to see it on the ballot.
The COVID-19 pandemic is leaving many seniors in nursing homes feeling isolated. How one facility is keeping residents social while still physically distant.
And we have more information about the Greene County inmate who broke out of jail last night. How the sheriff says he escaped. Ozarks Fox News at 9 starts right now.
Real, new, now. This is Ozarks Fox News at 9.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jennifer Abreu.
And I'm John Adams. Missouri voters will soon be able to decide whether or not to expand Medicaid in the state at an earlier date. Amendment 2 will now be on the August ballot, not November. And it will be a yes or no question of whether or not to expand Medicaid. Our Francis Lynn joins us now in the studio with this story. Francis.
Over 30 states in the U.S. have already expanded Medicaid, and today a group visited Cox Hospital in Springfield to campaign for expansion. However, not everyone thinks it's a good idea. Governor Parson announced that if Medicaid is expanded, it will have to compete for funding with higher education, mental health, and public safety. But some believe this debate is about saving lives. The group Healthcare for Missouri made a campaign stop. Doctors say expanding Medicaid will benefit the poorest in our community, and they say many hospitals are shutting down. If you're having a heart attack or a stroke, driving an extra 45 minutes or so to a hospital can mean the difference between life and death. The group also says the leading cause for bankruptcy in the U.S. is healthcare expenses.
We're talking about our low-income, hard-working individuals cannot afford to go see a primary care doctor until it's too late, and now they have to go to the emergency room.
So what ends up happening is they get hit with a bill that they're never going to pay. They will pay on that bill for months and years and never get it paid off because somewhere along the line they're going to get sick again, or someone else in the family is going to get sick. It's a vicious, never-ending cycle.
The group is happy with the earlier election and hopes voters will help get it passed. Healthcare for Missouri's next stop will be in Joplin tomorrow.
Francis, thank you. New at 9 tonight. Recently, we shared with you a story of a woman whose mother is in a nursing home and suffering from dementia. During stay-at-home and social distance orders, her dementia has gotten worse. But it's not known if this isolation is to blame.
Tonight, our Melanie Chapman shows us what some nursing homes are doing to keep the patients socializing at a distance.
Doorside bingo at Copper Rock Healthcare in Rogersville, keeping social distancing, but still being social.
There are things that I think are very important to try and do. It's not just a nice idea. I think for the psychosocial well-being of our patients, the activity director has a very important job at this point because they really do need to really think outside that box and see what they can do for the patient to keep them well adjusted, to keep them grounded, to keep them happy.
And medically safe. Dr. Beatrice Kellogg says these times of quarantine are going to play on our seniors in nursing homes as will play on anyone's mental health, isolating and breaking out of our normal routines.
And that's going to take a toll on your anxiety and depression. And exacerbate those or cause those if they're not present already. It can even be a bigger strain on those patients that have a cognitive deficit, like a dementia.
Shirley, look!
That's why some nursing homes are coming up with ways to keep the residents active while being cautious about the threat COVID-19 can have on some of the most vulnerable. Here is a pandemic parade where residents can see their loved ones.
No matter how our lives change, if we're competitive in nature, that doesn't change either. So they still want to compete and they still want to enjoy that as a group. We just have to be mindful of that.
And the CDC advised limitations on visitors to nursing homes, only critical visits. So residents see loved ones through the window or on social media.
It's difficult for both the patient, for the families, as well as for the staff and the workers at the nursing home, because they're trying to continue to give the best care that they possibly can. And there is a huge social aspect to nursing homes as well.
Trying new things and trying to do adjustments by following the recommendations, yet still continuing that socialization. In Springfield, Melanie Chapman, Ozarks First.
We have new information on the Greene County inmate who was on the run last night. 28-year-old Nathan Sneed was originally charged with third-degree domestic assault. He now faces additional charges. Sneed was one of 2 inmates who escaped last night. The first inmate, Jacob Atkinson, was found quickly last night. Greene County Sheriff Jim Arnott says the escape was a 3-person job.
They were able to get about a 9-inch gap that they slipped out of our rec yard fence, which has a padlock on it, but they were able to slip. 2 of them slipped through. Then they got under an 8 3/4-inch space on the ground below a chain link fence, and that's how they slipped under.
Sneed wasn't too far away from the jail. He was found around the 700 block of East Lynn Street on top of a garage roof and now faces possible jail time.
Keeping crime in focus tonight, the Missouri Highway Patrol reports that 6 people died on state roadways during the Memorial Day weekend. Crashes increased this year compared to 2019, and troopers arrested 111 people for driving while intoxicated. That's also an uptick from 2019. 2 people died on state waterways, with 1 man drowning after falling off of a boat dock in Lake Taneycomo, and another man dying after exiting a boat and being swept downstream on the Elk River. Both were pronounced dead at the scene. 7 people were injured in separate boating accidents, and 11 people were booked for boating while intoxicated.
A 24-year-old West Plains man is being accused of shooting and killing another man over the weekend. Jonathan Goodman has been charged with second-degree murder and armed criminal action. Police say he shot and killed 30-year-old Craig Lynch on Saturday, also from West Plains. According to police, the 2 were fighting at a home on Lanton Road, where Goodman pulled out a gun and shot Lynch repeatedly. Lynch was taken to Ozarks Medical Center, where he died from his injuries. The West Plains Police Department asks that you contact them if you have any information about what happened. That number is 417-256-2244.
Moving to political coverage tonight, Governor Mike Parson expressed his disappointment with the lack of enforcement of social distancing at places like Lake of the Ozarks over the weekend. However, the governor said in his daily briefing today that enforcement of issues like social distancing is up to local health departments, not the state, and it will be up to those local authorities to decide if any action should be taken against the business who hosted big crowds over the weekend.
I don't, as the governor of the state of Missouri, don't want to get on the issue of the local issues. What they decide to do on the local levels is up to them. That's their businesses there. That's their people there. Their economy depends on a lot of that. You know, that's got to be a decision people back there make. Back home, I want to say, make those decisions.
Parson said that if testing is needed for those employees, it will be done.
Looking around the Ozarks, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Little Rock District is scheduling water releases of the White River dams due to high water levels. They started with Beaver Dam today. Bull Shoals Dam was originally scheduled to release water today, but that was postponed. The Corps is advising areas downstream of these dams to begin assessing their plans and to take proper precautions. Jay Townsend, chief of the Little Rock District of Public Affairs, says these water releases are much needed.
What we allow to happen is for Beaver to fill up first, because that's our first line of defense. And then typically Table Rock second, and then Bull Shoals. But Table Rock has the least amount of storage. So from time to time, we will move storage from Table Rock into Bull Shoals. But what's happened is over time, those slow and heavy repeated spring rains have filled up the reservoirs to the point now where we're holding as much as we possibly can and preparing to make downstream releases.
Well, checking in with Jamie, we really could use a couple dry days here across the Ozarks. Are we going to get lucky?
We are going to see that kind of weather pattern set up, but not until the end of the week. We've still got a couple more days of wet weather, and overnight tonight we could find some localized heavy rainfall that could lead to some flash flooding potential. I'll have more on that and the beautiful weekend forecast that's in store in your forecast next.